Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're watching. Hey, welcome to the AllBrands show. My name is Kalli, and today we are going to be talking about some really cool hoops and clamping systems with Justin over at Hoop Tech. If you missed any of this live, no worries. You can go back and rewatch it once we go off the air. And be sure to stay tuned because we will be giving away a $100 AllBrands gift card at the end of the show. So make sure that you like this post, you give us a comment, and you share this post if you're on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that little bell if you're watching on YouTube. So that way you will be entered in for this $100 AllBrands giveaway. So we got a jam-packed show today. So let's bring Justin on. Hey, Justin.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited to see these products, and I'm sure everyone else at home is too. So if any of you all have any questions for Justin, go ahead and leave them down in the chat, and we will try and answer those live. But Justin, tell us just a little bit about Hoop Tech before we get into what these products are.
Yeah, Hoop Tech, we've been offering innovative embroidery products like our cap frames and our clamps and our specialty clamps. So we just have so many different clamps for different applications. And we've been in the business for almost 30 years. And, we just have so many amazing things. Something that we like to say is if there's something that you're wanting to sew and you can't do it with what you have, I'm sure we have something, or we can make something that is going to make it work. So that's just a little bit about Hoop Tech. We're really excited to be able to demonstrate our products and show you what we can offer. So I'm excited for getting started today.
Yeah, well, let's jump straight into it. And remember, if y'all have any questions, go ahead and drop them down in the chat and we will try and answer those live. But take it away, Justin.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to flip you around here. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right, so this over here is one of our most popular products. This is our Gen 2 cap frame and T-bar framing gauge system. So these work hand in hand with each other so that you can do a variety of different hats. Over here on my table, I have a bucket hat, I have a youth hat, I have a Richardson hat, a flat bill, visor, and an unstructured hat. So today I'm going to frame up all of these different hats, and I'm just going to show you how easy it is to use the Gen 2 and T-bar framing gauge system. I'm going to start with one of the more popular hats that I know a lot of customers have issues with, and that is the Richardson hats. And the reason why these are so difficult is because the front of the hat is very firm. And the Gen 2 and the T-bar working together makes this super easy. What the T-bar does is which you'll see here in a second when I frame my hat up, I'm going to put my backing in. We have backing clips that will hold your backing in place. What the T-bar is going to do is it's actually going to stretch the material of the front of the hat down as flat as it will go. So that way you don't run into puckering and needle breaks, and you just get a nice and crisp sew out like you can see on this Richardson hat that we have here. So just to show you the T-bar, I'm going to take this off of my tripod here. Right here, we have an adjustable panel that you can move in and out depending on what kind of applications that you're doing. So if I'm going to be doing a structured hat, I don't need as much support because it's already built into the hat. So I just move this all the way in. And if I'm doing an unstructured hat where I would need more support, I'll move it out. And just depending on the kind of hat that you're doing, you'll just adjust this based on that hat. So again, the rule of thumb is if it's more structured, you want this pushed in. If it's more unstructured, or if you're doing a bucket type of hat, then you want to have it pulled out more. So that's how the T-bar works. You can adjust it down here with this orange knob, move it in and out. And then because I'm going to be doing a Richardson hat, I'm going to have this tightened in and pushed in all the way here. Put you back on here. All right. So I already have my backing and my cap frame. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set this on the T-bar. I'm going to pull my sweatband out. So that way I'm not going to sew through it, and I can make sure that I just have that pulled out all the way. I typically hold it at the edges here of where the bill is, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to slide it all the way on to my T-bar. So now that I have it here, I don't have to hold it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push this all the way forward so that it is lining straight up with the T-bar portion here where I'm going to close my frame. So you want to make sure it's pushed all the way forward. My sweatband is nice and out of the way, so I don't have to worry about it sewing through that or bunching up in that area. Then here below, I'm going to pull out the sweatband at the back of the hat, and I'm going to insert the T-bar inside of there. Even though this is a netted Richardson hat, I don't have to worry about the material here because I'm just giving it a little bit of a tug, and you can see it's pulling the material. What the T-bar is doing is the Gen 2, it has two knobs that are right here, which is catching the sweatband on the hat. And then you have the T-bar portion, which is going in the sweatband of the hat. So when it's pulling down like this, it's pulling the material back so it lays nice and flat like this. So I don't have to do it super hard, otherwise I'm going to ruin my material back here. But I'm just going to give it a nice tug right there. And then I'm going to pull this over, and this is my latch. So with one hand, I'm still applying pressure to the T-bar, so that way it's keeping the material pulled down. And then with my other hand, I'm pushing down here and I'm closing it. It's that easy. Then I can just take the hat off, and then I could go and click it onto my cap driver. So that's just showing how easy the Gen 2 cap frame is to hoop up Richardson hats, which is one of the most difficult ones. And I've already embroidered on this one. And again, you can see it's sewed out really nice and crisp. It didn't bunch up. It just looks really good. And the reason is it's pulling that material down nice and flat, so that way I'm sewing on it flat. So it's just going to give me a nice sew out. It's going to give me a better sew out because it's pulling that material and it's not bunching here on the front of the hat. So that's a Richardson hat, one of the more difficult ones. Another difficult one is a flat bill hat like this one. I actually just embroidered on this one the other day, and you can see this is a pretty large sewing area that I have here. I believe this is about 2 to 2.5 inches on the front of the hat, but the Gen 2 works the same exact way with the Richardson as it would for a flat bill. So I have my panel pushed all the way in on here. I'm going to take my sweatband, I'm going to pull it out of the way, and then I'm going to push it all the way forward. Again, what this is doing is it's allowing the sweatband to catch on the two knobs that are on here. So that way when I pull this down, it's pulling the material with it. So I'm just going to give it a nice little stretch a couple times. My material is laying nice and flat. I'm going to bring it over so it's hooked into place. I'm going to push down, and then boom. There we go. Now you're ready to embroider on a flat bill. And a lot of the issue with flat bills is because the bill is so stiff, you can't really frame it up very easily. But with the Gen 2, what it's doing is it's actually pushing the bill forward for you. So it's doing all of the work that you need for this bill to go forward. And then when you close it, it's going to hold that in place, and you don't have to worry about your material in the front going anywhere. So those are structured hats. Now you may be asking, what do I do if I'm doing an unstructured hat? A lot of people don't really have issues with unstructured hats. I see it more with the flat bills or the Richardson caps, but the Gen 2 can still do unstructured hats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen my plate right here, and I have it lined up with my backing. The backing is about 3 3/4 by 11. So I have it about 3 3/4 out, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten this in place. Same rule of thumb here. I'm going to pull out my sweatband, and then I'm going to slide it all the way in here. So that way it's catching on the sweatband. And then with both of my hands, I'm going to insert the T-bar in. And even though this is an open back, I can still stretch down this material. It doesn't take a lot to do it because this hat is a shorter one, but I'm gonna just pull that material down and then close it. And then I'm ready to go and embroider. This was sewn on a Tajima machine. Again, this is a very large sewing area. I'm getting pretty much down to where the bill is at. Of course, with the presser foot, it's a little bit higher on there, but I'm getting right up into the eyelids of the hat. So the Gen 2, because it's pulling that material down, is going to not only reduce needle breaks and give you an all better sew out, but it's also going to allow you to embroider a larger sewing area. So that's doing an unstructured hat. I know this is repetitive, but I find that whenever you repeat something over and over and over again, it's just solidifying that you are hooping the hats right. There is a learning curve with this system, but once you get the hang of it, because it is completely different than what comes with your machine, it works wonderful. If you do visors, this is the perfect cap frame for you. We don't actually hoop the visor like this, because if I go to close this, I'm missing out on most of my sewing area right here. So actually, what we do is we flip it backwards. And when I do that, I'm lining it up with those two tabs that are right here on the Gen 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it down, pull on the sweatband portion, pull it down and back. What that's doing is it's pulling this material nice and flat. So then when I go to close my frame here, and I take it off, I have full access to my sewing area. And if I was to hoop it the regular way, then what this is going to do is it's going to limit my sewing area. But I was able to get pretty much right down to where the bill is at. Of course, with the presser foot, you can't go right on the edge of it, but you can see that you're getting very, very close to that. And a lot of questions we get about visors hooping it this way is the bill going to end up hitting my needles? And the answer to that is no. It's not going to interfere with that at all. It's giving you access to this full sewing area. And you may be asking, how does it hold the visor in place like that? This right here and this right here on the other side is actually holding the frame, the front of the frame, nice and tight. So I don't have to worry about it coming loose whenever I am embroidering on it. I don't have to worry about it moving. It's going to stay in place whenever I go to move it. So that is a visor. And the last hat that I have here is a bucket cap frame. And this is a pretty popular thing, especially around this time, now that the weather is starting to get nicer. A lot of customers are probably wanting you to do a bucket hat, which you can use with the Gen 2. The bucket hats that you can embroider on are actually like a floppy hat. It's not going to be the super stiff brims. There's a different frame for doing that. But if you're doing a floppy hat like this, which I know are really popular, the Gen 2 can do this as well. So for this one, because the hat is taller, I'm going to use a larger piece of backing. This is 4.5 by 11. So I'm going to slide it in to the tabs on the Gen 2. I'm going to fold my backing here. And then because this hat is so tall, I'm actually going to move my panel out pretty much all the way at the edge of my backing here. So now that I have that adjusted where I want it to go, I'm going to take my bucket hat. This one has a sweatband, so I'm going to pull my sweatband out here. And then the same thing. I'm going to move it all the way forward. And you may be saying, there's a lot of material here, but where I'm going to be embroidering, this material is not going to interfere or get in the way. So now that I have it lined up here where I would like it to go, I'm going to take the T-bar and put it in past the sweatband. I'm going to make sure this is lined up exactly where I want my design to go. These are a little tricky because it doesn't have a line going straight down the center here, but as you can see, right here is my center point. So if you took a piece of chalk or if you want to just eyeball it, make sure that it's lining up straight here, and then you know your design is going to go there. There's actually a little tab right here on the Gen 2 that will help you mark your center point. So that's what you're wanting to line it up with. All right, let me put this back over to the side here. All right, so I have my T-bar put inside of the bucket hat. I'm going to get it lined straight up where I want it to go. Because it's a bucket hat and it has this material, I'm just folding the creases out of the way. I'm going to pull down on my material. So again, you're seeing it's pulling the material back. So that way this is laying nice and flat here. And then I can go ahead and I can just close it. And then I can take it off. And then now you're ready to embroider on bucket hats. So that's the Gen 2 cap frame. Next, I'm going to move on to clamping systems. But before we move on, is there any other questions or anything right now?
Justin, can you repeat that for me?
Oh, yeah. I was just saying this is the Gen 2 cap frame. Next, I was going to do clamping systems, but I wanted to see if there were any questions.
Yeah, so we had one question up top. Right there. Yeah, we had a question from Larry Christensen on YouTube. He said, I've been trying to do market analysis and ROI for a small embroidery business. What market would you consider this product targeted towards? Like a large shop, a small shop, hobbyist? I would say all three, but I'm curious to get your take on that, Justin.
Yeah, it would. Let me flip my camera back around here. I would say that it's for all. I know there are a lot of our customers that do this sort of as a hobby or something that they do on the side. So it's definitely for the smaller companies as well as the larger companies. I know for the Gen 2s, at least, there are multiple companies that they have a huge head that they are running these hats on. So it's for the small and the large companies. It really kind of just depends. They are a little more on the pricey side. So if it's not something that a smaller business can afford, I mean, it's totally understandable, but it really works for any type of business you have, whether it's a small or a large. And it really just depends on the applications that you're doing. If you're doing it on the side, you're probably not doing hats a whole lot, or maybe you're not doing bags a lot. You kind of just do it whenever you want to. And in that case, you know, our products, you can use them for that. But I would say you can use them for whatever size your business is. These are all innovative. So even if it's something that you did on the side or you did for fun, and then you were like, hey, these are really easy to use. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy more and I'm going to kind of open it up a little bit more, then you can do that as well. So I would say it's targeted towards all customers. Okay.
And then I was wondering, what machines is this compatible with? I know it's compatible with something like the PR 1050X, like the one I've got behind me. But what other machines is this frame compatible with?
Yeah, the Gen 2 is compatible with really any industrial embroidery machine. And then, of course, the PR and Baby Lock 6 and 10 needles. So they'll work on Tajima, Happy, Barradin, SWF. We have frames for all kinds of different machines. So any industrial embroidery machine that there is, we have the Gen 2 cap frame for all of those. So it's available for really any kind of machine you have. As long as you have your machine's cap driver, it's going to mount directly to that. So you don't have to buy any extra pieces from us, or if you're ordering from AllBrands, all you need is the cap driver that is made for the machine. So you don't have to buy any extra pieces aside from the cap frame that is suitable for your machine. And then you'll need the T-bar to get the full benefits of the Gen 2.
Okay. And I had one last question. I know you showed how close you can embroider to the bill of the hat. Do you know how close you can get, like specifically like inches, centimeters away from the bill?
Yeah, so it really kind of just depends on the machine that you're embroidering on. With a Tajima machine, as I showed earlier, there's this unconstructed hat that we did, and I'm like maybe half an inch, if that, maybe a quarter of an inch from the bottom here.
Right.
And that's with an unstructured hat that's not as stiff. I could maybe get that close on a Tajima machine with the structured hat as well. But with the PR and Baby Lock 6 and 10 needle machines, it's a little more difficult to get that close just because the bill is running up against the back of the head of the machine.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we don't really guarantee a sewing area, because it just varies by machine. And it also just depends on what kind of hat you're doing. I mean, if you're doing a shorter hat like this, there's not a huge sewing area that you're going to get. But if I was doing something like this bucket hat, I'm going to be able to get a larger sewing area than I would on a shorter hat. So
Right.
those are the different factors that play into in terms of the sewing area that you can get or how close to the bill you can get. So I would say if you have a Tajima or Baradin or another machine like that, I would say you're probably getting a quarter inch to half an inch away from the bill. And then if you're doing it on the PR and Baby Lock, again, it kind of just varies on the type of hat that you're doing and how stiff that it is. So.
Okay. Awesome. Well, this is all really great information. Everyone was talking about how easy it looked to do this. So let's just hop straight into some of the clamping systems. And if y'all have any questions about clamping systems, let us know in the chat.
Yeah, of course. All right, I'm going to switch back around here. I'm actually going to, I have 4 different clamping systems that I'm going to be showing you today. And really, they're all similar. It just depends on what kind of applications you're doing as well as what kind of machine that you are embroidering on. So this right here is our persona set. It comes with the 4 windows. I actually have it on here, which I will show in a little bit, framing up different applications with the persona. The persona was originally created for the PRS 100 machine, the single needle, but we've now adapted it to where it works on the 6 and 10 needle PR and Baby Lock machines, as well as the Janome MB7 and the Tajima Sai, which those are more, they're not technically like a home sew machine, but they are the smaller machines. So this was made specifically for that. If you have a machine aside from those, don't worry, I have a clamping system that you can use. This was just originally created for the single needle PR and Baby Lock machine, but now we have it to where it will adapt to those different machines. And then this right here is a larger clamping system. It comes in a set with this 11x5 and 8x5 window. The reason that we have made this clamping system, it's called the PR2. So it will work on the PR and Baby Lock 6 and 10 needle machines. It will also work on the single needle, like the I believe the Baby Lock Alliance or the Intrepid. I know it works with that. So this is just a larger clamping system. That way you can get a bigger sewing area on your machine, on your PR and Baby Lock machine. And then our slimline clamping system is made for the PR and Baby Lock machines, as well as, again, like the Gen 2. It just depends on what kind of machine you have, but we have them to where they adapt with so many different machines. So if there's an adapter for your machine that we carry, or if you're curious about that, I know that you can ask those questions here, or if you ask later, or if you're watching this later, then we can definitely answer any questions about the machine compatibility with these. But there's something that I want to show you with each of these clamping systems. The last one right here is our Slimline 2. This is a very large clamping system. It is not compatible with the PR and Baby Lock machines, and I'm going to explain that here in a couple minutes why. But you may be asking, why would I get a clamping system? What is the benefit of using a clamping system? I have the magnetic hoops, I have the plastic hoops. Why would I get a clamping system? And the nice thing about a clamping system, especially with the Slimline and the other clamps that I've showed you here today, is they're attaching directly to the rail of your machine. Because they're attaching directly to the rail of your machine, it's going to be more sturdy when you are embroidering. And you're allowed to do materials of all kinds of different thicknesses. I have here a horse paddle sad. Sorry, I just said that wrong. a horse saddle pad that we've embroidered on here. It's a very thick material. It has a thick foam that's inside of here. And we were able to actually hold this and embroider on it with our slimline clamping systems. You can also do things like Christmas stockings. You can do beanies. These are some bags that we've embroidered on. So this is like a racquetball bag. You can do kids shirts, you can do adult shirts, you can do the left chest, you can do the back. Anywhere that you can fit one of our clamping system windows, you can embroider on. You could do a little bag like this, or even one like this, and you can fit inside of the different pockets. And I just like showing these bags because it shows you can pretty much embroider wherever you want to, as long as you can clamp it inside of the window. So this is another bag we've done. And then this is the last bag that I have to show here, but you can see this was embroidered with the Slimline 1, got into all of these different little pockets that we have here. So this is all thanks to a clamping system. Now, with a plastic hoop or the magnetic hoops, with the zippers that are on here or the materials that they may not be able to be held with the plastic hoops or the magnetic hoops. So that's where the clamping systems come in very handy, is because it can handle any material of thickness. So if you're doing a thinner material or a thicker material, the slimline clamping system can hold it all. And I like to say that anything that you can frame up in this system, you can embroider on. So if you can clamp it in there and it will hold tight, which it will, then you can pretty much embroider on anything, as long as you have it to where the window can clamp and you can do your trace and you can move around inside of the bag or whatever you're wanting to embroider on. So those are the different clamping systems that we have. That's the advantage of a clamping system versus the plastic hoops or the magnetic hoops, is it's going to be able to handle any material of thickness that you're wanting to frame up and embroider on. So earlier I said we have the Slimline 2, and this won't work on the PR and baby lock machines, and I want to explain the reason why that is. The Slimline 2 was originally created for the industrial embroidery machines like this Tajima here, or like this Melco machine. The reason it won't work on the PR and baby lock machine is because the machines only allow for about 8 inches in depth, and 3 inches of that is taken up by the chassis. So because the Slimline 2 has larger windows, like this one is a 12x9 window, you're not going to get the full depth of the window. So that's why we made what we call the PR2 clamping system that has the 8x5 and the 11x5. Again, the machines only allow for about 8 inches in depth. 3 inches of that is the chassis portion here that allows you to open and close your clamp. And then the 5 inches that you get are within the limits of the window here. So that's why we have the PR2 clamping system. We get a lot of questions of, I want to get the Slimline 2 and use the 12x9 window with my machine. Am I able to do that on my Brother PR and baby lock machine? And the answer is no, just because you're not going to get the full sewing area of the Slimline 2 clamping system. Now I want to show you, I'm going to hoop up some different things here. Let me get my tripod. I'll start with the Slimline 1 here, and I'm just going to frame up different bags. So if during this time, if there are, any questions or anything like that, if there's anything that you guys want me to frame up, or if you have questions about, I would love to answer any of those questions during this time. The clamping systems, they are very similar in terms of how they open and close and what you're able to frame up in them. So I'll just hoop them up on the different clamping systems, and then if there's any other questions, we can answer those during this time as well.
I mean, Justin, you're doing such a good job demoing this. We're not really getting any pressing questions, thankfully. Most people are just talking about how excited they are about these. I mean, they're super easy to use, and I'm really excited to see, or for everyone watching, to see how easy it is to clamp something with these. I mean, it's So simple. Yeah, just keep on going. I'll let you know if we get any questions, but so far everyone is just kind of in awe at how great
Okay,
these are.
awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. As much as I love answering questions, I love to hear that you guys are enjoying this demo. So with the clamping systems, you're actually going to use your backing. Right here, I have some tearaway backing. It really kind of just depends on what you're wanting to frame up. But I'm going to hoop up a bunch of different things here so that way you can see how the clamping systems work. Now, I'm going to start with one of the bigger ones, which I talked about here, this horse saddle pad. It's a very thick material. So with this, because it's so thick, I don't need backing to support it because it's kind of built into this material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it in here, and then I will get it lined up where I want it to go. It's catching on the material a little bit just because this is really thick, but the slimline can handle it. So now that I have this lined up where I want it to go, I can clamp it down, and now it's held in place. So after I have it clamped in, I'm going to pull my material out here to be nice and flat. So that way when I go to embroider and I go to sew, I have the support that I need on here. So the clamping system, it can handle any material of thickness, and it doesn't matter. I'm tugging on this, it's not going anywhere. And I'm not just like slightly, I'm like pulling on it. You can see it's moving the rail because I'm pulling on it so hard. So the clamping systems, they can handle any material of thickness. Now, if I was going to hoop something that was, let's say, a little smaller, the other advantage of a clamping system is they have so many different windows that you can use with them. So for instance, the one that I just framed up is our 6x5 window. The slimline one has 9 different windows that you can use. So let's say I wanted to do a smaller pocket. I have our 3.5 by 5.5 window here. So when I slide that in, I'm going to tighten this black knob that's on here, which I'll point out. It's this one right here. All you have to do is tighten that, and this window is securely in place. Then I'm going to take my silver top window, and then I just insert it inside of the clamp. So now this is installed, and I'm ready to frame up whatever I want to. So let's say I wanted to embroider on this baby t-shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my shirt here, and then this is a bigger piece of backing, so I'm going to slide this in side of the shirt here. So I have that support that I need, and then I'm just going to slide this all the way in. And let's say I wanted to do the left chest, I can just slide this in, clamp it down, and then I'm going to pull out my material. So you can see it's kind of bunched up. With a material like this, I don't recommend pulling it super hard, otherwise you'll stretch the material out. And then when you go to embroider, because it is holding it so tight, it could potentially bunch up. So just pull it enough to where it's going to be flat. You don't have to like over tighten it or anything like that. But you can see that if I pull this in a little bit here, my material is laying nice and flat. So now I'm ready to embroider. So the clamping systems, they have all kinds of different windows that you can use that will do any type of application that you have, like a book bag or a t-shirt or the back of a jacket or anything like that. You can use the clamping system with. So that shows that you can do a super thick material, super thin material. Now you may be asking, what are some other applications that I can do? And like I said earlier, which I'm going to show you, you can do Christmas stockings with the Slimline 1 clamping system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert in a different window. It's our 5x3. And the reason I'm using this window for this application is because the stockings, they are wider. So I want to get a wider sewing area versus needing the depth of the sewing area. So because I have the 5x3, it's going to give me a 5-inch width sewing area, and then I can go 3 inches deep. So for a Christmas stocking, I'm going to take it. I'm actually going to flip it inside out. Then I'm going to take my backing right here, and I'll put it inside of my stocking. And then when I'm ready to frame it up, all I have to do is slide my material in here. Now that I have it lined up exactly where I want it to go, I'm going to clamp down, pull out my material. You can see that it's laying nice and flat, and then I'm ready to embroider on a Christmas stocking. I know it's not Christmas time, but I just want to show you that no matter what time of the year it is, no matter what application you're trying to do, you can use it with the clamping systems. So this is the Slimline 1 clamping system. You may be asking, I have a PR and baby lock machine. What can I do on my machine? Which I think a lot of you guys are probably using these machines just from just from the questions that we've gotten in the past and what we've wanted to demo. So I want to show how the Persona clamping system works as well. With the Persona clamping system, as I said, you have 4 different window sizes that you can choose from. So this is our smallest window we have, which is a 2x2. So I can go ahead and I'm going to put my window on here. So now that I have that locked into place, let's say I wanted to embroider on this little bag that I have here. This is another material that's a little thick, so I'm not going to use backing for this, but I just slide it in here, clamp it down, and then it's already pretty stable, and all of my wrinkles are pulled out of it. So when I go to embroider on this, it's giving it the support that it needs. So that's if you were using the smaller window. You could use it for smaller pockets. Like if I wanted to embroider on this book bag here that I showed earlier, I would open up this, and then I'm going to slide it into the window, and then I'll clamp it down. And again, I'm just ready to go. It's nice and flat, and I can go ahead and embroider. So what other windows do we have for the Persona clamping system? The other windows that we have here, we have our 3x5 window, which I showed on the Slimline 1. We have the 4x4 window, which we also have for the Slimline 1. And then the other window we have is a 7x6 window. And the reason why this has a larger depth than the other clamping systems do in terms of the Slimline 1 or the PR2 for the PR machines, the reason being is because the chassis for the PR, for the Persona clamping system, is smaller. So I'm able to get a little bit bigger of a sewing area than I would get with the Slimline 1 window. So as you can see, it's a smaller chassis. It's a smaller portion in there. So I'm able to get a larger sewing area. So that's the Persona clamping system. And then I'm almost finished here with our clamping systems. I know it's really repetitive and there's a lot of different options that you can choose from, but I promise you any of these clamping systems are going to be a great addition to what applications you're wanting to do, just because of the ease of use and the different machines that you're able to use them for. So like I said earlier, this PR2 clamping system was made specifically for the PR and baby lock machines. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tighten this on here. So now that I have this installed, I'm ready to frame up a larger bag. So let's say I wanted to frame up, again, this horse saddle pad. Just showing you that it doesn't matter what clamp you have, you can frame it up. So I'm going to slide this all the way in here. Now that I have it lined up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close the clamp. And then I'm going to pull my material out so that it's laying nice and flat. And then I'm good to embroider. So I can do materials as thick as this one. Or if I wanted to do a big bag like this one, I can just slide it all the way in here and then clamp it down, pull my material out nice and flat so that way I'm ready to go ahead and embroider on this. So this is the PR2 clamping system. It's the larger clamping system for the PR and baby lock machines. And then the final clamping system that we have here is the Slimline 2, which works very similarly to the PR2. It just has different window sizes that are available. So let's say the same bag that I have here, that I have in the PR2, let's say I wanted to embroider a larger design on there. So what I would do is I'm going to take my material inside the Slimline 2, and I'm going to pull it all the way in here. There we go. It's getting caught on one of the pockets that are in there. There we go. All right, so if I wanted to embroider a large design like this is 12 by 9. Again, you would be able to do this with like a Tajima or a Melco machine or a Embroidery, but you won't be able to use this large of a clamping system with the PR and baby lock machines, which is why we made the PR2 clamping system. So now that I have this lined up in here, I can pull my material out. It's nice and flat, and I'm ready to go. So that's the clamping systems. Again, there's so many different kinds that we have here, but they are all really great options if you are looking to do different types of thicknesses, different types of materials, or just depending on what kind of machine you have. These are the clamping system options that you have to use. So that's it for the clamping systems. Do we have any other questions or anything?
Yeah, we've got one question from Dawn over on Facebook. Dawn was wondering, do you recommend the clamping system for towels, and would the clamp crush the pile?
So that is a great question, actually. Sorry, I'm a little tall, so so it won't ruin the material that you are embroidering on. It's not going to crush it. That's the other advantage of a clamping system like these, is they're going to be able to clamp over zippers, so you don't have to worry about ruining those. And then the material, it's not going to leave hoop burns or marks or anything like that. So again, that's another advantage of the clamping systems. It's not going to leave a mark. Depending on what kind of machine you have would determine what clamping system I would recommend for you. But really, any of these would be a great option. It just depends on what kind of design you're wanting to do, how large of a design you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to do like a big 11 by 5 design on a towel, I would recommend the PR2 clamping system or the Slimline 2 clamping system, just depending on what you have. But if you're doing like a hand towel or something like that, I would recommend getting one of the smaller clamping systems. So the Slimline 1 or the Persona would be a great option for you.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think that was really the only question that we had. Barbara was in the chat and also chimed in that yes, towels can be done, and she would suggest using the extension table with it. So the extension table on, I believe, a 6 or 10 needle machine. But yeah, I think those are all the questions that we had. If you are curious about any other sizes of hoop or any of the other clamping systems or any other Hoop Tech products that we didn't go over today, please go ahead and check out the category page that is linked below in the description. It's got a bunch of Hoop Tech products that you can shop, and some of which we did go ahead and go over today. So thank you again so much, Justin, for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. And everyone was really interested to see how these products work. So I'm glad we got the chance to do this.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad as well. I hope that I was able to answer any questions or maybe teach you guys something new today. And I look forward to doing more stuff like this in the future with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we will see you soon, Justin. We'll see you around.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for watching.
All right. Bye, Justin. And guys, don't leave yet, because we have a special guest
No.
coming on the show right now, walking into the broadcast room, sneaking in. It's Barbara! Barbara's here!
Gosh, we're together.
This is the first time that we have done the AllBrands show together.
Oh
So, big surprise here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you missed any of the stuff that just happened, don't even worry about it. We will have this video available for playback, both on our Facebook and our YouTube channel, as soon as we go off the air. And all of like the back catalog of all of our AllBrands show is on our YouTube channel. So go ahead, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. We have a playlist full of the AllBrands show. There's so many. So go watch them all. They got me, they got Barbara. History.
Larry, I was just responding to your comments, and if I'm not getting to any questions,
that's why
I'm going to go back
We're in the room.
and respond to them. So, oh my God, it's so
party
great.
can start now. Yes.
Yay.
Yeah. So we just wanted to hop in real quick. We still need to do the $100 gift card giveaway. But Barbara, did you want to show us a little bit of the clamping system that we've got?
So we
on
actually
this
have
machine?
it. I want to show you how it attaches to the frame because
Yes.
I think it's great how Justin was showing it on the table, but we have it set up here on the Brother 10 needle on the side here.
Yes.
And it's so nice to have it easy to access. We didn't get into this one, but this is a really nice optional a purchase as well, where you can do like small items here. But I definitely wanted to show you how it can attach to your machine. What do you call this thing?
What, the PR
The
1055?
stand.
Oh, I was like, the machine name? Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so it attaches to your stand, and I think that it's really unique how it works with the Brother machines, and it works in conjunction with the driver that you already have. So if you have the Brother hat hoop, you want to be able to do more hoops with it. Definitely get that Gen 2 cap frame that was demonstrated in the beginning.
Those hard to hoop caps, like they are super easy. I mean, you saw the demo. They are super duper easy to use. On this machine. This is really funny. I don't know. Do I stand up? Like, what do I do?
I need a chair.
Do I stand up? I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's fine. We're good.
So I also wanted to let everyone know that this is the last weekend for Brothers. 60 months, 0% financing on these machines. It actually ends on Monday, the 28th. So you have until Monday if you're interested. Because I saw in the comments that
a few folks were wondering about
flatbeds.
Yeah, I did
not
see
the
that.
Tubular arm.
So if you're looking to expand your collection, I guess is the best word, because you can't have more than one. That's or you can't have just one. I can't make words today. You can't have just one.
Is that like chocolates?
Yeah, right. It's like Lay's. Oh wait, we're not sponsored. It's like that. You know, you cannot have just one. So if you want this absolutely fantastic machine behind us,
we got to show them. And,
we do.
The tubular arm. So for those of you who have 770s or the flatbed machines, the reason why Hoop Tech hoops work so well is because you can wrap like a Christmas stocking around this, a backpack, and it's just so easy to hoop.
I keep seeing people do like designs up like long sleeves. I feel like that's also doable.
Yeah. Boots. I've seen
boots. Boots are also doable.
Let us know in the comments what y'all see.
The possibilities are seriously endless.
Carrie. You're
Carrie. Carrie, you're awesome.
Oh my gosh. And Jill, good to see you.
I think you may have just killed Jordan. She's losing it.
Oh my gosh.
You know, that's fair. That is a very fair trade in my humble opinion.
So that 60 months financing, we had in the image the Brother 10 needle, but that is also applicable to the Brother 6 needle.
Yes, it is.
Tubular arm embroidery machine. And other flatbed machines from Brother. So definitely take advantage of that.
Take a look. Check it out.
Should we give away $100?
I think we should give away $100 now.
I don't think we should.
Guys, should we give away $100? Do y'all want $100? I don't know. I would want $100.
Can I have $100?
No. I mean, hey, if nobody wants the $100, I'll take the $100.
All right, everybody, get your comments in.
Yes, get those comments in, get those shares in. Hey, if you are on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We just surpassed 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you so much for that. We are really excited about that. A lot of our content has been, it could not have happened without your input. So thank you for that. Please subscribe, because we're working real hard on that channel and we are making some cool content. I'm just saying.
Well,
it's pretty cool.
if you have any suggestions too, we listen. And a lot of these shows that we have are folks that they're all comment and let us know what they want to see.
All recommendations.
And
for sure.
We definitely listen. We want to give you content that
you want to see.
Yeah.
Especially training stuff. Like I know some folks have been asking about training for different products. We do have some training videos for different products. And I think we are thinking about doing some more just like beginner tutorial sorts of things. So stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff in the works. And we have, oh my gosh, we've got so much. We've got the Quilt Fest. We've got everything embroidery market coming up. I mean,
our Bernina hybrid events.
Yes, our Bernina hybrid events. If you missed the live earlier today, go back and watch that. It was really good.
The future is very exciting.
Yeah. We're going to be everywhere. All right. So is it time to pick our $100 winner?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
All right,
Let's
Jordan.
do it. It's so great to see everyone.
Pick a name, any name.
Closing my eyes.
Randomly select the name. Nancy Gonzalez.
Oh, yay!
Hey, Nancy, congratulations. You won. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
Congrats. You won our $100 AllBrands e-gift card today. So as per usual, go ahead and send us an email at events@allbrands.com and give us your name, your number, and your address, and go ahead and claim that prize. I would put it towards some cool hoop tech stuff, but that's just me.
Which they can get if they click the link in the description of this video.
Yes.
All the products that you saw are linked in that.
Everything. We have all of it down there. So if you want to learn a little bit more about a clamping system, I know we didn't get the chance to go too in depth today. So if you want to learn more about a particular system, go ahead and check those out. We have tons of information there for you.
Maybe I can get a chair for the next show.
I feel like I need to stand up too. Like, should we both just kind of? All right, here we go.
Yeah,
here we go.
All right.
This is.
I think they've had enough of us in this point. We love y'all so much. Thank you so much for tuning in every week.
Yes. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you next week for another AllBrands show. Bye, everybody.